Today's lesson is adding and subtracting polynomials. When you are adding or subtracting your polynomials, just remember that you are combining like terms by either adding or subtracting them, and that your answer must be in standard form with the largest exponent first, and then they have to go in descending order. So let's take a look at this first addition, find the sum. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my highlighters and I'm going to pair up my like terms. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with this constant, and then I'm going to look at the other polynomial to see if it has a constant. It does not, so let's move on to the next term. My next term here would be the 3x squared, and I'm going to go ahead and grab the plus that's in front of it, simply to remind myself that it is a positive 3x squared. Now there is an x squared in the next polynomial, and once again I'm grabbing that plus in front of it just to remind myself that it's a positive 2x squared. All right, then I have an x cubed here. I'm going to grab the positive so I know it's a positive 8x cubed, and here's our x cubed in the other one. It is a negative, and I need one more color. Let me grab my green for this one right here, and it is positive. All right, this question is asking me to add. So I'm going to go ahead, let me see, I'm going to circle it. There we go. Just to remind myself that I'm adding my like terms. All right, so I have to go in standard form, so I'm going to look at my colors, and I'm just going to figure out which exponent is the largest. This one's exponent is 0, the blues are 2, the pinks are 3, and the green is 5. This one wins, and it's going to go first. So in parentheses, I'm going to put 12x to the 5th. And what I'm doing, let me go ahead and grab this, is I'm really doing 0 plus, right? I could even come back and say 0x to the 5ths plus the 12x to the 5ths, because this first polynomial had none. All right, now I'm going to count backwards. So 5, 4, none of those are 4s. So 3 would be next. 8x to the 3rd goes first because it's first, and then plus negative 7x to the 3rd, or cubed. Then would be the 2's, those would be the blue ones, 3x squared plus 6x squared. And lastly, I would have the constants because there's no x, so it's 4 plus the 0 that doesn't exist because there's no constant in the second polynomial. Now I'm simply going to go through and I'm going to add. So the first one gives me 12x to the 5th. 8 plus negative 7 gives me positive x to the 3rd. It would be a 1, but remember, I can make those invisible. 3 plus 6 is 9x squared, and it is positive, so I'm going to put a plus. And 4 plus 0 is 4, and it's positive, so I'm going to put a plus. I am in standard form. This is my answer. Let's try one more. Now, this one is already in standard form as I look at it, 2, 1, none, 2, 1, none. So let's go ahead and highlight. I'm going to bring my pink back. There's the squared with the squared, the 1 to the 1, and the constant with the constant. And once again, I'm going to remind myself that I am adding them together inside of the parentheses. So I'm going to start with the purples, negative 5t squared plus 7t squared. Then I'm going to go ahead and do the blues, 4t plus 6t. And lastly, the pinks, negative 3 plus 1. Now notice that in between my parentheses, I am leaving out the plus. That's because the sign that goes between these two terms here is going to be dictated by whatever sign this addition gets. And likewise, this is going to be dictated by whatever sign I get here. So the symbol is going to come from the actual adding. So -5 plus 7 would give me 2, and the t squared just tags along. 4 plus 6 would give me 10t. Since it's positive, I'm going to put a plus. And -3 plus 1 is -2. And so the negative becomes a subtraction. Here is my final answer. Now, subtracting is very similar, but you just have to be careful that you remind yourself that you are subtracting. So let's go ahead and take a look at them. All right. Very, very important that I remember that I'm subtracting my like terms. All right, let's go ahead and grab them. Oh, be careful. They flip-flopped. It's okay. They can do that. But they do go together. Okay, perfect. So first I have to put the blues because if I'm going to be in standard form, x to the fourth is bigger than x. And so I must do x to the fourth minus 3x to the fourth. And then I could come in here and remind myself that there is a 1 with the x to the fourth. I'm not going to put my subtraction because remember, the sign that's going to go between these two is going to be dictated by this subtraction, by this difference. And it's going to be 5x minus 4x. It has to go in order from the left one to the right one, just like when I added those zeros in when the first one didn't have a 0 and the second one didn't have a term. All right, 1 minus 3 is -2, and the x to the 4 just tags along. And 5 minus 4 is 1x. We don't need the 1, but since we didn't say -1, we're going to go ahead and put a plus because it is a positive 1. There we go. You could put a 1 in here. I don't think you would get counted. I don't think that would get counted wrong. All right, the last one. And what I do want to say about this one is standard form for this one, there's not a rule. When you get this question in ALEKS, which you will have 1 or 2 of these, you can put it in whatever form you'd like. I tried it. I made sure that whichever one I put first, it took it. So as long as you just do the like terms with the like terms, it doesn't matter the order for this one because there are multiple variables, x and y, and then they are squaring and not squaring and cubing and not cubing and leaving them as just x and leaving them as just y. All right, here we go. Let's remind ourselves that we are subtracting. This does make it a little bit more difficult. And let's go ahead and grab our like terms. Be very careful. Notice in this first term here that the x is squared and the y is not. I would think it would match the first one here, but look very carefully. It does not. It actually matches, oops, well, it's not my highlighter, the second one. These two are going to go together. And when I put them, I get 2x squared y minus -3x squared y. So there's the purples. Okay, let's grab this one. Notice in the blue, the x has no exponent and the y has the squared. So this one goes with this one. And if I were to subtract them, it would be 4xy squared minus -6xy squared. All right, and then lastly, I have this minus y squared, which does match up with this plus 7y squared. I'm going to do this as -y squared minus 7y squared. I'm going to remind myself that there is a 1 hiding with that negative. All right, When I go ahead to do the subtraction now, whenever I do minus a minus, it is going to become a plus. So this is 2 plus 3 for 5x squared y. Once again, this one is going to become a plus as well. 4 plus 6 is 10xy squared. It is a positive 10, so I'm going to put a plus in front of it. And this last one, negative 1 minus 7 is going to be negative 8y squared, and the negative takes the place of my subtraction symbol. This is my answer. I can rearrange it. I could have it written like this. Same thing, Alex will accept that. You could even write it like this. It doesn't matter as long as you just have the right symbol in front of the right number. Remember, whenever you do have a number, its symbol is always right in front of it. Its symbol is always right in front of it.